The Rock has come back to the movie theater. Yes, horror fans, it is me, the Horror Miser Mani G, and as you can see, I'm not home. I'm actually at the movie theater. As you can see, there it is right there, the AMC movie theater. I'm getting ready to go see The Quiet Place Part 2. So, I will go on ahead, go into the movie theater. I got my ticket already. I'll head into the theater. I will see A Quiet Place Part 2, and then I'll be back home and will give you my review of one of the most anticipated horror movies of 2021. Finally, it finally came, and I'm finally back in the theater. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Now, A Quiet Place Part 2 is a 2020 American horror film. It was written and directed by John Krasinski. It stars Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe, and of course, John Krasinski. Now, following the events at home, the Abbott family now face terrors from outside the world. Forced to venture to the unknown, they realize the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats lurking beyond the sand path. Ooh. Now, I'm sure everyone knows how much I love 2018's A Quiet Place. It's one of my favorite horror pictures of the year, and it's one of my favorite horror pictures of all time. Written and directed by John Krasinski, known mostly for starring in NBC's comedy The Office, he became another actor-writer from comedy to find success in the horror genre. Similar to Jordan Peele's Get Out, A Quiet Place sought a different aspect to a similar plot that we see in most horror films. You know, we have a post-apocalyptic world, but unlike zombies or some type of infection that wipes out humanity, in this particular setting, we have alien creatures that hunt strictly by sound to the point where you can't make even a slightest sound without them attacking. And I thought that was a great way to do a horror picture, and it just took off. Movie critics loved the film, and so did the horror audience, as the film grossed over $340 million worldwide. So there was no doubt that Paramount would greenlight a sequel, and it was scheduled to be released of March of last year. But we know what happened. Yes, COVID-19 happened, and after a series of delays and postponements, the film was finally released in theaters on May 28th, 2021. So after all the delays and all the pre-screening and some of the word of mouth that was coming out, is the film worth the wait? Oh yes, and then some. This is going to be on my top 5 of horror films of 2020 so far. So after a decent prologue that features Lee and the rest of the Abbott family experiencing the alien creatures attacking the town when they first arrived on Earth, we're right back from the farm from the last movie. Now, Evelyn, Regan, Marcus, and Evelyn's newborn baby, we don't have a name for the child, venture out past the sand path, hoping to see if they can find other survivors because they can't stay on the farm anymore. They eventually run into Emmett, an old friend of Lee's, and they hide out in his bunker. After Regan discovers a way to broadcast a high-frequency signal from her cochlear implant that hurts the alien creatures that they discovered in the first film, she and Emmett head out to the radio tower while Evelyn heads out to gather some supplies because something happens to Marcus. I won't say what happens to him, but wow. This film is so good. Now, one of the things I love about this film is how tense the suspense was in this film, with more at stake, especially dealing with a newborn baby. Switching back from the silent mode, showing things from Reagan's perspective, and then back to sound was simply amazing. I like that two aspects where they show things from Reagan's perspective because, you know, she wears that plant, and when she takes it off, the whole thing goes quiet. There's some great scenes that we see in there where we don't hear any sounds, and danger is alerting him, and it just holds you in suspense. And like I said before, because that's what's so great about this whole film. Just like in the last film, the whole theater was quiet. I mean, you couldn't even hear anyone eating because you couldn't take your eyes off the film. That's how glued and that's how great John's direction is. It just holds you right in place and you simply cannot take your eyes off the screen because all you're just looking at it is holding your breath and waiting for the next danger sign to come up because you can't make any noise. That's what makes the first film so great. It's even the stakes are even higher here because again, you can't make any noise because the creature's going to come and attack. Unlike some horror sequels where they just simply repeat what the first film did, John's script builds on what occurred in the first movie and also allows the characters to grow. This mainly comes from the children. Now, Millicent Simmons, who is actually deaf in real life, is simply brilliant as Regan. She's actually the one that carries this film. It seems that she's become inspired by Lee's sacrifice, and she will do what is needed in order to achieve her goals. Because in the first film, she has somewhat of a guilty conscience because she believes that her father blames what happened to their son in the first film. And this film, because she now understands that her father always forgave her, she's become inspired and she wants to do right because she wants to make her father happy. And I believe that's a great way that how she uses the emotions, how she communicates with Cecilia Murphy's character. All that is brilliant, and she's the reason why you have to see this film. Melissa Simmons is just great in this film. Now, she and Cecilia Murphy have great chemistry together, especially when she teaches him how to communicate with her. It's amazing how you can have a person that doesn't know sign language and he teaches and she tries to teach him how to communicate and how to enunciate because obviously he can't use sign language, so she has to tell him how to enunciate so she can read his lips. And of course, Emmett he has his own character growth in this movie as well, and both she and Cecilia Murphy are perfect. Now, Emily Blunt, she's fine once again as Evelyn, even though she kind of takes a back scene in this one. The film is more focusing on Regan, and they're focusing more on Marcus. Now it's interesting seeing Noah Jupe as Marcus because he was only 12 when the first film came out. And he's had a growth spurt and his voice is deeper, so he doesn't sound a bit annoying as he was in the first film. Now the creatures in this film look even more frightening than they did in the first film, and they seem more vicious as they have more people for them to attack. I loved how they used the creatures in this particular film because there are more people for them to attack, unlike in the first film where they only attacked the Abbott family. Speaking of people, if there's one fault I do have with this film is that I'm expecting to see more people in this film. I actually thought we are going to see a community similar to what they do in The Walking Dead, where the humans are more deadlier than the creatures. But I guess because of how the creatures hunt, you really can't show that aspect. But we do get to see some people, mainly the flashback in the beginning of the movie, but I really wanted to see more. But I guess that might happen with the spinoff that's being talked about, or perhaps a third sequel. Then we might see more, we might see something other than the Abbott family. I hope we get to see more other people and how they deal with not making any sounds. Overall, if you love the first movie, you're going to love this one, as John Krasinski has proven, just like Jordan Neal did in his second outing, that he knows how to make an excellent horror movie. He has a nice script, it's very well paced, it's not that long, and I simply just love this film. Like I said before, this is going to be on my top 5 horror films of 2020 so far this year. Now, I've been going back and forth because I rarely give out the maximum 5 of my bloody gold coins, but I can't help it. I just love this film. So it's going to get 5. That's right, 5 of my bloody gold coins. Yes, I simply love the hell out of this film. And I know some people are not going to like it, because that's your opinion. I know some people didn't like the first one, and I understand that. But to me, I love it. It's getting 5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. So there you have it. That is my video and review of A Quiet Place Part 2. Right now playing in theaters, which I went to go see today. And if you want to see it in the theaters, I think you really have to get the great experience of how great this film is by watching in the theater. Because I'll tell you right now, no one made an absolute sound throughout the whole movie. I mean, no one did. I mean, that's really great when you can actually sit back and watch a movie and not hear any people, anyone. That's how much suspense and that's how much great the people were focused on seeing this movie. And I think everyone would love it too. So if you did see it, make sure you leave your comments in the comment section and tell me what you thought about A Quiet Place 2. Also, Please like and share this video because it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.